Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you.
So it's the second day in Chile, and after like the first day I was in Chile, God, I was so exhausted. I had like the best sleep ever. It was great. So waking up in Valparaiso was nice in my opinion. I was staying with my friend's host family that she stayed with when she was doing a student abroad program. And I guess they have kind of like tin shingles on the top of the roof. So you could hear pigeons every morning. You can hear the little tick, 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 tick of their feet just like walking around, chilling, having breakfast. And that was like my favorite part of waking up in Chile, was listening to their little feet and their little coos. But there's something else that woke me up every single morning as well, and it was weird and I couldn't figure out what it was for the life of me. But every morning I would hear this like twinkling music. I did not know what it was. I thought it was the ice cream man, but what didn't make sense is that Chile is like at the end of winter, so it's still kind of cold out. So it didn't make sense to be selling ice cream when it was still cold, right? Right. So later I found out it's a gas delivery man, and he comes around to hand out gas tanks because everything in Chile runs on gas, and he's there running around the neighborhoods so that people can get their gas tanks. So first thing, of course, we had breakfast. And oh my gosh, I had the best banana ever. I don't know what it is about Chilean fruits, but they taste amazing. And then we had this homemade bowl of soup. I don't know what exactly was in it, but it was amazing. And we had some tea and we got ready to go because we were going to be exploring Valparaiso all day. So remember that funicular that I told you about last time? This is what the funiculars look like. They look like little trolleys, right? They're all over the place in Chile. So my friend's host brother, his name is Isaac, and he's actually like a tour guide. So it was kind of like a bonus that we knew him because he was able to get us to places that, you know, normal tourists couldn't get into. We actually got to go inside of the engine room of the funiculars and see how everything kind of works in there. It was super loud. So the funiculars are German made, and they're also very, very old. The one that we were in was actually opened in 1906, and it still has like all the original parts and it still works perfectly. Heading to a marketplace in Valparaiso, and it's supposed to be a huge market area where everybody goes to get like fresh fruits and veggies. So we make it to the market after our really long bus ride, and it is like nothing I have ever seen before. There is so much fruits and veggies everywhere, and we hadn't even gotten into like the market area. We're just coming up to it, and there's like crates of veggies and fruits, and there's people like hacking fruits on the streets. And so we finally enter the market, and it's like a whole another world. So crazy different. I feel like this is something that I would have seen like out of a movie or something. So this is a more urban type area of Valparaiso. They have like lots of shops and cafes and some museums. And so a lot of the buildings in this area had a bunch of really eccentric murals painted on the side of them. And it was on like a lot of the buildings, and a lot of them were really cool. So lunchtime rolls around and we're trying to figure out where to eat. And Isaac mentions a place that a lot of tourists don't know about, and it serves really, really good food. So Isaac takes us around this corner and we're going down an alleyway. So I start getting a little nervous because I don't see anybody, and I don't see a sign for a cafe down this alleyway, and it looks like we're heading to the end of this alleyway. And so I nudge my friend, I'm like, hey, like, are you sure he's taking us to like a cafe? And then she's like, I don't know, like I've never been here before. And I was like, oh, well, this looks weird. So I'm kind of scared that maybe there's like some little mob of kids or something just like hanging out on the side waiting for some unsuspecting victims to just like walk upon him or something and then, you know, get shanked. But finally, Isaac says we're here, and he opens the door to this little secluded cafe that's all the way at the end of this creepy alleyway. And it's like a little cafe / museum. So it's filled to the ceiling with stuff. So while we're ordering our food, a guy comes in from like the back, and he's carrying like his gigantic guitar, and he makes his way up to the front of our table. And then he says something in Spanish, and then he immediately starts playing.
Cuando tu cerro alegre comience a sonreír, y aquí de su bañuelo al marino feliz que regresa.
I love all of these live performances that I'm having in Chile. I feel like I don't ever get sung this much in the States, but this was nice and it was different. So after our little performance, the waiter comes by to give us our food. And when he comes, he's bringing this massive plate. It's like bigger than my hands. I've got baby hands, so it's not really a good scale, but it was a big plate. And it's a huge platter of French fries. And so this big plate is called choriana. I hope I am pronouncing that right. And what it is a huge platter of French fries, meat and sausages and scrambled eggs and onions. And sometimes you can get like a fried egg put on top of it. And I could definitely see how this would be like a Chilean comfort food because it was really, really good. It was so good. So after eating, we went back out to the streets of Valparaiso to kind of like walk around and see more of the city. So we got to visit an art gallery in this urban area of Valparaiso, and Isaac just happens to know the people who run this little art gallery. So they actually let us in back into their like little, you know, employee only area, and they let us go out into the balcony. And the balcony had an amazing view of the city. I swear to God, so many of these places just looks like it's from a movie. It doesn't even look real. So later in the night, after we got back from exploring Valparaiso, my host friend's dad asked us if we had seen Valparaiso at night because he knows a spot that is not too far from where we are. We all hopped in his car and then he took us in the middle of the night, and he took us around some really, really creepy streets. So we finally get to the spot that my friend's host dad wanted us to see. And he was not kidding. The city looked super pretty at night from this spot. And that was day 2. So it was not as intense as the first day, but it was still a ton of walking and so many things that we saw. And oh my god, that plate of choriana was absolutely delicious. Getting memories of it again. Anyway, that was day 2, and I'm gonna have day 3 coming up very soon. Hopefully day 2 was as enjoyable as day 1, and day 3, what? I'm so sad. I feel like this is all coming to a close so suddenly.